So, would you mind explaining what the hell I just watched?
Why, I'd be glad to.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
In 1981, MTV hit the airwaves, a network that played all music all the time. There was nothing else like it on TV, and it became an instant hit. Many other networks attempted to compete, and NBC's answer to MTV was Kid Video, a cartoon about a band having wacky adventures in a wacky world, featuring songs and appearances by popular artists at the time. But come on, man! When it comes to music, nobody's ever gonna beat MTV. They will always be the king of music.
I think there's something you should know.
Oh yeah? What's that?
You know what? Never mind. Just go back to doing whatever it is you do off camera. I can't tell him! But anyway, let's take a look at Kid Video and see just how much of the 80s we can cram into one TV show. So the show opens with what might be the most 80s intro ever. By the way, does this intro remind anyone of an old McDonald's commercial? I feel like any minute now, Jason Alexander is going to come skipping down the street and try to sell me a McDLT. So our band here heads to a garage to rehearse, because that's where all 80s bands rehearse, when suddenly cartoon Danny DeVito shows up and transport them to a place called the Flipside. Just because. But anyway, let's meet the band. There's the titular Kid Video, lead singer of the band and sometimes arrogant jerk.
Cool move. The only kind I make.
There's Carla, the drummer and token girl. The guy with the Urkel pants is Ash, the keyboardist. And finally we have Willie from Bucky O'Hare?
Will someone please tie a rope to that kid? He keeps falling into alternate dimensions.
Actually, that's Wiz, the guitarist and brains of the group. Sometimes he's also the fat guy of the group. Yeah, you'll notice a variation in character designs. This show somehow lasted for 2 seasons. The second season looked okay, but the first season, ugh. It kind of resembles Hanna-Barbera character design. They look like the Scooby-Doo B-Team. Personally, though, I'd like to think he lost all that weight running for his life in one of the many chase scenes. Also, I couldn't help but notice he has several love interests throughout Season 1. I guess being fat and nerdy is considered sexy in the Flipside. Oh, man. Our universe sucks. Wiz is voiced by Robbie Rist, who played Cousin Oliver on The Brady Bunch, but is most noted for voicing Michelangelo in the Ninja Turtles movies. He's also done some anime roles, but I don't give a shit about that. When they arrive to the Flipside, they meet a fairy named Glitter, who is dressed like an 80s aerobics instructor with inexplicable leg warmers. She looks like Olivia Newton-John from the Get Physical video. I can't believe I made that reference. She's voiced by Kathy Cavadini, who voiced Blossom on the Powerpuff Girls. Appropriate considering her weird superpower. Every time Glitter sneezes, she gains temporary super strength. That condition is mighty inconvenient, though they usually find some creative way to make it happen. But when it does... Holy shit! Is she beating skyscrapers with other skyscrapers? Damn! The team's other sidekick is Toolbot, who is a toolbot. That sounds like Popeye. Then there's the band's vehicle, the Yellow Submarine. Yeah, look at it. What else can it be? It's the Yellow Submarine. Now it's time to look at what this show calls villains. The Danny DeVito guy is named Master Blaster. Yes, Master Blaster. Not to be confused with Blaster Master. He wants to steal all of the music from our world and keep it for himself because... evil. You know, there's something about him that reminds me of Dr. Robotnik. I bet they're cousins or something. His henchmen are 3 anthropomorphic cats called the Copycats, appropriately named because they look like copies of the Cadillac Cats from Heathcliff, which came out the same year, by the way. You know, just saying. They have about as much competence as you'd expect from cartoon henchmen, and Master Blaster does not like that at all. Jesus! Then there's this thing. I don't know what it is, but it scares the hell out of me. So now let's talk about the rest of this show. Listening to someone describe an episode of Kid Video would be like listening to the ramblings of a madman. There is so much bizarre imagery thrown at your head that marathoning this shit could cause serious brain damage. Fortunately, I possess a 12th level intellect, and was able to get through all of this nonsense. Barely. Seriously though, sometimes this show is way too much. Something weird happens, and just when you think you're used to what's going on, BAM! Something else crazy happens. Trying to process all this is like an assault on your brain. Even the characters don't know what's going on sometimes.
I can't believe it. This place keeps getting weirder and weirder.
What's happening, kid?
I'll let you know as soon as I figure it out.
The flip side looks like the Museum of Modern Art exploded. Once again, it reminds me of Yellow Submarine. In fact, I'm convinced the flip side is the place where the Beatles were traveling through to get to Pepperland. You know, suddenly this is making more sense. Or maybe less sense. I'm not sure.
Kid Video will return after these messages. We now return to Kid Video.
So you're probably wondering if this show has any kind of plot. Well, technically, I suppose it does. So as I stated earlier, Master Blaster wants to steal all of the music for himself. He does this by supposedly kidnapping artists from our world, as explained in this scene from episode 1.
Hey, listen, it's those rip-off artists, the Copycats. Yeah, they can't play anything unless the Master Blaster kidnaps a hot rock act and plugs them into it.
Then he must have Lionel Richie.
Oh no! They kidnapped Lionel Richie! So you're probably thinking this would lead to some pretty cool celebrity cameos, right? Well, not exactly. That's right, they didn't steal Lionel Richie, they stole his music video! What a cop-out! And these music videos pop up throughout the show, even when the whole stealing music thing doesn't come up. Like, someone will be looking at something and then suddenly, music video! And it usually happens without any warning and you're not ready for it.
Oh, it's wonderful. What's that inside?
Oh, Jesus! You can't just throw Wang Chung around like that. Someone could get hurt. Yes, this amulet contains the power of Wang Chung. We're not really sure what that is, but apparently everyone is doing it. In addition to this, they also play songs in the show. However, they put them at the most inappropriate moments. So there's this scene where they're having a flashback of a camera monster trying to kill them or something. Yeah, I know, this show's weird, remember? But during this scene, they play Axel F. from Beverly Hills Cop. In that scene where Glitter is lifting those skyscrapers, they play Studio by Phil Collins. There's an episode where they have to answer a Sphinx riddle, and the riddle turns out to be Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes.
That is the riddle. If you can tell me who it is about, you shall have your wish.
Okay. The evil in the sky, that has to be the Master Blaster.
And it is. Congratulations, young man.
Oh, so that's what that song's about. Thanks, Kid Video. Then there's this.
When it feels like the world is on your shoulders and all of the madness has got you going crazy. It's time to get out, step out into the streets where all of the action is right there at your feet. Well, I know a place where we can dance the whole night away underneath the electric stars. Just come with me and we can shake your blues right away. You'll be doing fine once the music starts. Oh, to the beat of the rhythm of the night, dance until the morning light. Forget about the words on your mind, you can leave them all behind. Oh, the rhythm of the night. Oh, yeah. To the beat of the rhythm of the night, dance until the morning light. Forget about the words on your mind, you can leave them all behind. Oh, the rhythm of the night. Oh, yeah.
What the hell was that? No, seriously, what was that? And what the hell did it have to do with Rhythm of the Night?
You know what really irritates me? There's a show on TV right now that also uses licensed 80s music, but does it right.
Everybody's always talking about who's on top. Don't cross our path, cause you're gonna get stopped. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever take you down. You're the best. Ain't looking for nothing but a good time, and it don't get better than this.
Well, there was also some original music. The Kid Video band was put together specifically for this cartoon, and you thought Justin Bieber was fake. They performed some original songs, and most of the episodes ended with a music video. Were they any good? Well, it's 80s music, alright. It just sounds like everything else at the time, but I guess it's not bad, you know, all things considered. They also released an album in Israel. Yeah, apparently Kid Video was really big in Israel. How random. They also played some of these songs in the show, particularly this one that they always played during a chase scene. And there were a lot of chase scenes. I have heard this song so many times that I'm sick of it. So I'm gonna drop in a more appropriate song. Much better, wouldn't you agree? Alright, so far I barely touched on how batshit crazy this show gets. Flipside doesn't seem to run on any kind of logic or reason. It's also inhabited by many strange races of people. There's the neon people, the big-headed cowboy people, the two-headed Australian people, bouncy ball people, and whatever the hell everything else in this world is. There's just no consistency. Everything is either adorable or fucking horrifying. In this episode, Carla is getting chased by these things that are legitimately scary. Then they morph into a giant hand and go after her. But luckily, Kid Icarus shows up to save the day. Also, he's Swedish for some reason.
What's your name and where do you live?
My name is Vor. I am a lumen. I live at the southern edge of Clipside.
I'm here to fill the stereotype quota. So in this episode, they run into these rapidly growing metal plants and these weird Dr. Seuss creatures that keep them under control.
That's a tweeter. They eat things that are up high. And that one's a woofer. They eat things down low.
Woofers and tweeters. You get it? I get it. I'm not laughing, but I get it. Then there's an episode where they find a plant that makes you laugh to death, so they need to find a cure. Then this happens. And this happens. And this happens. I can't believe I'm getting bored with this. I mean, there's another episode where characters' dreams and nightmares come to life, and I'm like, oh look, something weird and crazy is happening. What a shock. It's gotten to the point where nothing surprises me anymore. So then there's this episode where they're chasing this troll guy, then this army of creatures made of eyes, ears, noses, and lips show up, and this happens.
I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come on, take the time and dance with me.
Okay, I was wrong. I wasn't ready for that. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, where did this show come from? What deranged mind could come up with something like this? I felt something calling me. Coked up cartoon writer? Where the hell have you been? Oh, man, I hit your floor after the SWAT Cats review. I've been there ever since. Oh my god, were you in a coma? Nah, man, I just really fucking love your carpet. It's like all shaggy and warm, man. I didn't want to get up.
Okay, so did you have anything to do with Kid Video?
Kid Video? Yeah, that was me.
Well then, how'd you come up with this? Like, what inspired all of this madness?
Oh, well, you know, you read a lot of books, and you go to museums, and you get literature and movies, and
It was cocaine, wasn't it?
Oh, well, what'd you expect, man? It was the 80s. Everybody was doing cocaine.
And apparently some still are.
Hey, what do you think made the 80s so awesome? Okay, now, I gotta get going. I got a conference call, and I gotta take this, so don't disturb me, okay? It's so fuzzy!
Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. Kid Video is a bizarre piece of 80s pop culture. I really wanted to like this show. I really did. Because there's some iota of creativity behind it. But man, what a train wreck. There's no direction or competency at all. I mean, I love randomness in the 80s as much as the next person, but this was too much. I think part of the problem is the show was a half hour long. A half hour of this is sensory overload. It might have been more tolerable if it was only 15 minutes, but who knows. Check it out if you're curious, but watch it once, or at least sporadically. And remember, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Alright, it's time to move on. And you know, I haven't done a movie in a while, so I think next time we'll look at a movie. But not just any movie. One that I've been getting a lot of requests for.
Like I said, weird.